Well, I imagine if you're watching this and you're a Buffalo fan or a Buffalo resident, you're going to be quite happy seeing this video. Good morning and happy Saturday, everyone. Let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. Let's see. What is my low? Hmm. I don't think well, come on, I gotta have a low with it. I mean, could I just simply not have a low? Sure, but come on, it would feel kind of disingenuous if I, if I just kept doing the low and the low high act of kindness. Because I mean, if I really thought about it, I mean, I do feel bad about yesterday's video being as late as it was in the day. I mean, I try to be better about today's video because, I mean, yesterday was almost, noon when that video was recorded. Now it's like just 9 o'clock in the morning, so that's definitely better. But speaking of better, my high is it's a beautiful day outside right now. I'm really hoping it stays that way, especially for what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, but I'll talk more on that later. Hold on. Excuse me. Yes, I sneezed on camera. My act of kindness was actually something that I helped my mom with because, for reference, my dad drives a lawnmower, and the John Deere store is, I'd say, about just shy of 1.5 miles from where they live. And normally my father will literally drive his lawnmower to John Deere. And someone needs to pick him up, or it's the reverse, like, you gotta drive the lawnmower back home, so you gotta drop him off. But, my dad couldn't do that, so my mom and I had to do it. So I had to drop my mom off at the John Deere, and she drove my dad's lawnmower back to their place, which neither one of us have ever ridden a lawnmower before. But, I mean, here's the thing. Like, of course that when it happened, it started to rain. So my mom had to, take her umbrella with her. Again, I don't know how to use a lawnmower. I mean, it's not really as simple as, driving a car and just, going forward and, turn the steering wheel. There's a lot more to it than that. Especially if you want to do a good job of taking good care of it after having just taken it out of the John Deere store. Fun fact about the John Deere store that's in Big Flats, it used to be a restaurant called Smokey's. I went there as a little kid. They got rid of it. Now it's a John Deere store. I mean, I really just thought of it now, but yeah, it used to be a place called Smokey's. If anyone watching this remembers that. But come on, if you're watching this, you're probably a Buffalo resident or a Buffalo sports fan. And you know what I'm talking about because the title of the video gave it away. Yes. Last night, the Buffalo Sabres won their first playoff series since 2006-2007. And they upset the Boston Bruins. I mean, needless to say, between the Bills being as good as they are, go Bills, And what happened last night with the Sabres, it's a really good time to be a Buffalo fan right now. Although, here's what's funny. I actually have a friend of mine has a daughter who goes to college in Boston. And, they're Buffalo fans, specifically Bills fans, but they went to the hockey game last night. And I'm like, Buffalo won because they were there. So, shout out to my friend and her daughter that went. Here's the thing. I've said this before. Hockey, I don't really pay as much attention to as, say, football or the NFL or the NBA. But I do respect hockey. I do. Sports will always be one of those beautiful things that brings so many people together and just have a good time. It is. That's why, personally, I could never imagine a world without, sports because, without sports, yes, sports allow you to do something that you love to do, but it's important that it gives people other things. Again, the ability for people to come together and potentially make new friends. The ability to understand what working hard is and applying that to your everyday life. Building character. Those are things you can't get from a store. Sports, it did it for me. Again, I'll never say it was that good. Although Lord knows I tried to work really hard. But, it still allowed me to work hard in other aspects of life. And I'm very grateful for it. And hockey is a sport that is no exception. I will admit, though, growing up, the only thing I really knew about hockey is if you live in the state of New York, you have to be a Rangers fan. I actually had no idea there was a team called the Buffalo Sabres, if we're being honest. It wasn't until I got to college, or not to college, Trinity Pauling, when hockey is like the predominant winter sport there, where, everyone talked about hockey a lot. Specifically, there's a place in Trinity Pauling called The Cave. And back in the day, it was like one giant screen TV. And like 99.9% of the time, Sports Illustrated was on. Not Sports Illustrated, ESPN, I'm sorry. Can you tell I'm still tired? ESPN was on all the time. And so, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, yeah. You couldn't get it. Trinity Pauling couldn't get enough of it, and for good reason. So that's how we became a little bit more privy to, some of the sports teams in hockey. Specifically, this was when Ovechkin on the Capitals, this was like his rookie year, or it was like really early in his career, which I'm happy to say I'm glad he has a Stanley Cup win, so that's really cool. Actually, there was one this guy really wasn't a very good teacher, but credit where credit's due. Whenever the Capitals ever did not very well, he would call them the Crapitals. That was actually kind of funny. Still, this teacher sucked. I'm just going to say that right now. Anyway. But I remember, I'd say in the last 10 years, Buffalo has really become more prominent as a hockey city as well. A few years ago, because normally, like any sports draft, hockey has a draft too. But it always took place in Canada. like, I think the one year they had the NHL draft in Buffalo was like the first time it had ever taken place, not just in New York, but literally in all the U.S. Because again, the draft is always, in Canada. Um, so, and that's actually not to say that, I wasn't completely oblivious to hockey. I mean, I had several cousins who watched and played hockey. Um, back when I was a little kid, my parents were trying to figure out what sports we could be good at. We tried hockey for a little bit. Really wasn't interested at all. Just too darn cold. Um, that and plus, like, I really didn't think I was a very good skater. So, funny enough, freshman year of high school, they have an ice skating unit for gym class, and I took it, probably because there were a lot of really pretty girls in that class. And it turns out, I'm actually not bad at skating. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm not bad either. Um, so yeah, hockey is one of those sports where, it's beloved. Well, definitely in North America it is. I mean, I'm glad we live in a day and age where more and more sports are becoming recognized all over the world. I mean, obviously soccer is, the starting off point. People play that sport all over the world. And, baseball is like pretty much right behind it, I think. Um, Basketball is especially becoming more and more prominent in Europe. Um, the NFL, football with each passing year, as you get more games in other countries, I mean, flag footballs are going to be an Olympic sport in 2028, men's and women's. So it's like seriously, someone once told me like there's going to be flag football, it's going to be men only, but yeah, come on, they're not going to have they're not just they're. Not, I mean, listen, considering like every flag football game I've ever went to was like, girls only. Like, come on, they wouldn't take flag football out of the Olympics for women. That'd be dumb. Like, actually, there's a friend of mine who has another daughter who just celebrated senior night for flag football, and it became one of her favorite things ever. So, yeah, again, that's the beauty of that's the beauty of sports. You know, Sports does so much good for a lot of people, for a lot of things, that I can nary think of an instance where, stuff like that isn't a wrap. So, yeah, I guess it's a long-winded way of me saying, I do like hockey. I do. I mean, right now, between hockey and the NBA, if you're between the NHL and the NBA, if you're a sports fan, you definitely have things keeping you entertained for the next month or month and a half due to, playoffs. Um, so, yeah. I'm sure everybody in the city of Buffalo is actually I finished what yeah, I was really busy doing a whole bunch of other stuff last night, but I did go to Pick's Pub last night to watch the third period when Buffalo was already had 3-1, and as soon as it got to 4-1, I'm like, yeah, this series is over. I dare say like Buffalo could probably put in like all of their backups, and Boston still wouldn't come back from that. Um, Although I do really feel bad for Boston, because I mentioned I really became more privy to hockey when I was at Trinity Pauling, and there at the time there were a lot of Bruins fans. In fact, when our head prefect had his speech during graduation. He talked about there was someone who had like a really bad disability that caused him to be like nonverbal. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but they took this person to a Bruins game, and the first thing he ever said was "Go Bruins." So, yeah. Maybe I should pay attention to hockey. I mean, I know some of the teams, the Boston Bruins, the Philadelphia Flyers, obviously the New York Rangers, is the New Jersey Devils, the Buffalo Sabres, the Dallas Stars, that's all I can think of. So the Seattle Dragons, I think they're a hockey team. I'm blanking on the team that Vegas is. That's from Vegas. I can't remember. I'm sorry, but yeah. I do plan on being a little bit more attentive when it comes to sports. I should. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love football, but yeah, it wouldn't hurt to culture myself a little bit more in other sports. So I have to try and make note of that. So congratulations to the Buffalo Sabres on winning your first series in like 20 years, roughly. I don't know what the future holds. I mean, the hockey playoffs are going to be going for at least another month and a half, so Lord knows what's going to happen. It'd be really cool to see the Sabres win a Stanley Cup. I'd love to see that. It'd be the first championship to come to Buffalo. So, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. And you know what? If for whatever reason the Sabres season ends in the next series, you know what? You got the Bills coming back in a few months. That's going to be exciting. I hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very helping this video for all of you guys who watch the show today. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk to him, you to let me always back. Take care. Make good choices. 607 all day, baby.